around the world, again, so large, 388 million strong, they face a similar series of problems. And that series of problems are problems for which there really is a singular solution. That singular solution is Lev AI. These are the problems that social entrepreneurs face. In today's world, there are about 8 billion people. And of those 8 billion people, there's a meaningful percentage. Remember, there's chatter right now. They're talking about AI. They're discussing it. They're trying to understand what it might mean for them. But as they stick their toe in the water, they find out that it's not very comfortable. Because why? Because they have to have so many individual unique applications trying to perform these services, and they don't communicate very well with themselves. And so we may have a singular application for our CRM, for our customer relationship management solution. Perhaps we would need to have another one for our social media growth and marketing, another for building and maintaining websites, and so on. Confusion, multiple applications leading to multiple subscriptions, multiple expenses. And the challenge is that the web builder is not communicating with the social media builder, which is not communicating with the CRM. And so it creates a modest increase in outcome, but not a dramatic increase in outcome. When Sundar Pichai said that AI is going to be more profound than fire or electricity or anything we've done in the past, then that is not reflected in the current modest improvements that people experience utilizing AI. 30, 40, 50%, maybe 100% improvement. Well, that's all great, but it's not reflective of something more profound than fire or electricity or anything we've done in the past. And so clearly the promise of AI has not yet been realized. That's the truth. There is a promise. We can see it. It's right there, but it's not yet been realized. And so Lev AI has a ripe market in which to function because we have a solution to those problems with a singular solution with all of the functionality contained in one, each one of those individual solutions contained in the overall whole, communicating and cooperating with the next. This making, not potentially or possibly, but for certain, making the building and maintaining of candidate and customer lists far easier. That, of course, critically important to all those small businesses who need access to more people. Creates confidence about what to say throughout the engagement process. And this is of critical importance to me. Over the course of my career, I have never interacted with anyone who has done all that which is required to succeed, but done it poorly and therefore failed. I've never experienced that. Sadly, I've had so many good, well intended people who've simply not done that which was required to succeed. They were stuck. And why were they stuck? There's a few reasons that they were stuck. But one of the reasons is the inevitability of the challenges that people face when they realize a job is too constrictive for me. You see, a job is a reactive situation. My employer, the circumstances of my employment dictate to me when I go to work, with whom I work, and so on. Those who have entrepreneurial instincts and entrepreneurial blood in their bodies, they realize along the way, no, I want to work when I want, where I want, with whom I want, and if I want, and I want to establish my own value in the marketplace. Well, those words have never shown up on a job description. That's a description of entrepreneurship. The challenge is that moving from the reactivity of employment to the proactivity of entrepreneurship can be challenging, and that results in many people simply feeling stuck. It's not that they don't do what's required to succeed. Well, it's that Cyril correctly stated so long ago that the skill to do comes from the doing. And so if we can stop people from being stuck, then they will do, they will develop skill. And as a result of developing skill, more confidence, more poise, and more correct self-esteem, suddenly they've become that attractive leader that draws others to them. And we can remove the fear of failure how? In the most beautiful way, by helping people stop failing. I think that's the most obvious thing. The group of challenges I've described, and we're going to address each one of these challenges. And as other challenges arise as we move forward, we'll create solutions to address those challenges as well. One very obvious challenge is as follows. It's clear today that one can predict future results by measuring current influence. If one has broad current influence, one can logically predict future positive outcomes because of that influence. If, on the other hand, one has limited current influence, then future breakthroughs will be more challenging. They'll be less frequent and less remarkable, less profound, certainly, than fire, electricity, or anything we've done in the past. And so, immediately upon beginning to utilize our suite of services, First will be, well, probably the first for most, will be importing contacts into the CRM. In so doing, first of all, you'll find you begin to save money because you can eliminate the current CRM, which probably costs 2 or 3 times just for the CRM what our entire suite of services cost. And in so doing, something magic happens. We import a contact into the CRM, and then immediately your LevAI solution begins reviewing the social media presences of every contact inserted through certain screenshot import. And now reports back to you within 90 seconds. What does the candidate have interest in now? What is their degree of urgency? And then we'll even craft for you an individual script utilizing your personalized GPT. Notice I said personalized. 700 million people logged in today, this week, to Chat GPT looking for answers to questions and solutions to problems. And they found good answers and good solutions. They did not find perfect answers and perfect solutions. Why? Because they were getting information through Chat GPT that was pulled from the broad internet. Therefore, by definition, it was generic as it relates to their specific product, project, service, opportunity, comp plan, culture, and so on. When we receive specific information about what our contact needs to know or wants to know, what their needs are, when we then have the ability to provoke the conversation utilizing a personalized GPT, I can think of few things that would help people get unstuck and begin to engage in the activities which result in the development of skill, which is the first step in the development of a leader. See, we're not just using a crutch. We are using a crutch to help us overcome a temporary disability, that being a lack of knowledge and a lack of skill. And we use a crutch to help us navigate long term disabilities. I'm never going to speak Mandarin. And so I use a crutch to overcome short term disabilities. In so doing, that helps me become more knowledgeable, more skillful. I'm becoming a leader. I use the crutch long term to do those things which I cannot do for myself. It's an absolute beautiful concept. This is more profound than fire or electricity or anything I've ever seen in the past. This is remarkable. Simple screenshot import, which then leads to contact enhancement, telling us what each one wants to see. And suddenly we are engaged in a pattern of activities that are leading our candidate to their desired conclusion, whatever that is. That is a beautiful thing. We're not going to try to convince anyone to do anything. We instead will ascertain what do they want to do and help them do it at some economic or personal advantage to them. Therefore, having our positive financial outcomes being a direct result of the positive outcomes of those we introduce to the Lev AI solution. We'll no longer spend money on the construction of websites or the maintenance thereof because that's included in the process. My momentum. And the easiest way that I can describe this is I'm a pilot, I fly airplanes. I have an instrument rating, which means that sometimes I fly in the clouds. And when I fly in the clouds, I cannot see the destination. I cannot see from whence I came. I can't see to my right or left. I need to rely upon someone to guide me in the correct way. I have a map. I have a road map. It's highway in the sky, I called it. It's an airway, and it will guide me from place to place. But you know what else I have? I have a personal assistant, an air route traffic controller who is assigned to me, who watches my every behavior. And 6162 Romeo, you have varied off course. Please turn 3 degrees to the left, guiding me back to the correct course. 6162 Romeo, you have fallen beneath the minimum en route altitude for your flight. Please ascend 1,000 feet. The prompts every step of the way, every step, every step, every step. I remember when I first became an instrument pilot, I had frequent interactions with air route traffic control. As I became knowledgeable and skillful, I had far less frequent interactions with that controller. The exact same thing will be true of your participation in this business. Why? Because every interaction made me more knowledgeable and skillful. This is what I want all to wrap your arms around. This is not replacing people, this is growing people. Every interaction makes you more knowledgeable and skillful. There are times when we'll use it as a temporary crutch as we develop the knowledge and the skill, therefore, in fact, becoming more. There are other times where logically, the absolute truth is I am 68 years old in a couple of weeks. I'm not going to again be 50. I'm not. I cannot be something that I'm not. See, that's a permanent, if we want to call it a disability, of the fact that I'm no longer as youthful as I once was. I can overcome permanent disabilities utilizing the projects long term. I can overcome temporary disabilities utilizing it to become skillful in the areas where I'm not. And I am completely enamored of the idea that countless good people can succeed if they simply do that which is required to succeed. The tremendous challenge then is this whole thing of being stuck, frozen behind a wall of fear. Is it not clear that that person who has been reactive to the designs of employment, seeking to become proactive in growing a business, is it not obvious that if that erstwhile new participant, that new budding entrepreneur, if he or she had a group of contacts presented to them each month, which said, this person has already said, I want to know more about AI. I want to know more about artificial intelligence. Maybe I want to know more specifically about Lev AI. And they have now provided at your request every single data point you need to help meet their answer their questions and provide the services that they want. Someone asking you for help, telling you what help they need, help that you have available to in your Lev AI solution. Would that not be an easy stepping stone between the pure reactivity of the employer telling you what to do, the proactivity of you deciding in advance what must be done? Now we have the person contacting us saying, I want more. Clearly, an easy bridge between these two. It will develop leadership. There is so much to this there. And by the way, if you have struggled your life in trying to break out of the role of employment and into the role of entrepreneurship, and you've simply not been able to do it, it has not been possible. Well, then for you, is it not true that this is more profound than fire, electricity, or anything in the past? Because fire and electricity didn't get you past that, but Levi can and will. You see, each one of us needs to reflect upon our own life's experiences, our own areas of personal strength, and whatever our own areas of temporary or permanent weakness are. And then ask, is there anything in the past that has helped us overcome those? Apparently not, or we'd have overcome them by now. And so we now present to you a solution, a group of solutions, which I believe on the great, big, broad global scale, in the biggest way, is in fact more profound than fire or electricity. But then on the tiny little micro way, as it relates to every individual, as it relates to you specifically, if nothing in the past has helped you overcome the obstacles that have created the breakthrough you seek, then perhaps for you individually, not just on the global scale, this is more profound than. And my premise is that many will find it to be just that. There's a lot to this. There's more. Every plan includes your own avatar, literally a digital twin that looks like you, or you can pick one from the library if you prefer. Give it any script or use your personalized GPT to create it. And unlike you and unlike me, your AI twin can speak fluently in 150 languages. It's a really easy thing. I heard from Blake yesterday that tomorrow I will have my own digital avatar. It may not be introduced to the world until Tuesday, but tomorrow I'll have my own digital avatar. I've been watching Larry's, and I also was thrilled with the ease of creation. Literally set up the iPad that I'm talking to right now, and with just a couple of simple prompts, I was given some simple guidance, and a few minutes later was able to upload to the company the information they needed to not just create the avatar in my specific image and likeness, mannerisms, the way that I react to circumstances. I mean, captured it all. And then over the course of the last couple of days, we've been able to upload to that avatar literally hundreds of hours of content. That hundreds of hours of content being so dense that in a couple of minutes you will learn about a literally interactive or conversational avatar. The depth of your content will determine how conversational can that avatar actually become. For those of you who are content providers who have struggled trying to get your message to as many people as the message would impact, well, you, like me, will shortly feel like this is, in fact, for us individually, not just for the world. This, for us individually, is more profound than fire or electricity because those things did not cause my message to become accessible to everyone, and Lev AI does. My AI video at action, give it your script or let your personalized GPT create it. You can use your voice, which I'm going to encourage most of you to do that. In my own case, my voice is kind of a trademark. Randy's got that funky, squeaky voice. People, when they hear that voice, they know it's me. And when I hear Jim Rohn's voice, I don't have to wonder, is that Jim Rohn? It is a trademark. I would encourage you to further your own trademark by putting a bigger and bigger spotlight on who you are, not trying to become someone that you are not through the use of AI. And that's key, folks. Use AI to become a bigger and better and more visible version of who you are. Do not fear that AI is going to replace you. It cannot. It is the uniqueness of you. The AI, artificial intelligence, folks, these avatars only know what you teach them. That's it. They only know what you want them to know. Your your purpose and your need, your role as a catalyst in the ongoing success of the venture is heightened, not lessened, by the proper use of artificial intelligence in its highest form. Shortly, not just Larry Lane and not just me, but you will be able to deliver your message of importance in every nation in the world in their native tongue fluently. I'm absolutely thrilled with the value proposition throughout my entire career of microenterprise, solopreneurship, entrepreneurship. I've always explained away price. I've always had a good product to represent. It's always been on the high side of the product scale. Why? Because it's always been priced to meet the need of a compensation plan, not to meet the need of the consumer. And the side effect of that has been that I've been involved in a direct selling industry where basically we sold products to one another. It's not our vision, it's not our message. We are going to bring. Notice I said we are going to bring, not that we're thinking about, we're trying to, we're planning to. No, we are going to bring artificial intelligence in an accessible way to the masses of humanity. It's the 8 billion people on planet Earth who will be required to adopt these. That is our principal effort, is to bring accessible AI to the masses of humanity who will be required to adopt. And that means that price points which are appropriate for the masses needed to be incorporated from the beginning, and have they been? Two packages, the basic pack, $49 per month, the pro pack, $99 per month. And I challenge you, though, it's just a waste of time. But if any of you want to know for a fact what the value proposition is, you go try and replace these services for multiples of this price, and you'll find you cannot. So, what are those features? Your AI video, your likeness, your voice, speaking your script flawlessly in dozens of languages, and you can even use AI to generate the script. Social AI writing assistant. This is the first step in the process of growing your social media presence, which in fact does what? It grows your future value in the marketplace. Business profiles. You may have multiple messages to deliver. With the basic pack, you get one profile, one message, one stream of content that the avatar learns. If you have multiple businesses and multiple messages, acquire the pro package, and you can have as many profiles as are required by your particular life and business situation. I absolutely love the social media growth and engagement, utilizing LevAI's tools to craft creative posts. Remember, there's a series of things that have to be done to cause your current, if insufficient, social media presence to become that which you would. That's the big part of what LevAI will happen. CRM was candidate with super screenshot. Now you get the AI candidate enrichment telling you what that candidate wants to know. I love the fact that we'll no longer spend money on website creation and maintenance. The CRM does not just tell you what the candidate wants, but it guides them through a funnel, helping each one arrive at their point of correct or logical conclusion in the shortest possible period of time on a fully automated way. And then, as I indicated, over 2 billion searchable candidates that you are able to drill down so deeply to identify almost the exact person that you want to talk to and who wants to talk to you. There is simply no question that that will assist in a dramatic way in the movement from the reactivity of employment to the proactivity of entrepreneurship. This is the difference in success and failure for many. And now I've described the interactive AI avatar, conversational. Right now, I'm here in one place. I can only be one place right now. It's in my home in Heber City, Utah. And I can talk to this group of people who presumably speak English. That's the sum total of my reach right now. Starting next week, I'll be able to be, at anyone's request, in any city, nation, state, home, living room on the planet, all at one time, the same time, all upon request, available at the touch of a finger to anyone within my sphere of influence, anyone in this business, have access to that information. That is, if I am your coach or mentor or among them, then I am one of your air route traffic control centers, constantly guiding you back to the center line. And you know what? If I am one of your coaches or mentors, I am also that person who is helping you deliver the message, letting you borrow through my entire bank of knowledge, which you can also upload to your avatar, a set of life's experiences which prepare your digital avatar to answer questions that you otherwise could not. You see, it's not about replacing you, it's about making you a more highly valued example of you. That's what it's all about. It's about increasing your market value literally from the first day, spreading your reach, and eliminating, reducing, completely jettisoning any of the limiting factors that have kept a lid on your personal productivity. Now, I said several times, if I am your coach, if I'm your mentor, if I am not, you have a coach or mentor. If you do not, please take this bit of guidance and advice. I would never have accomplished what I have accomplished had I not sought out knowledgeable people who are willing to teach me. Now, suddenly, you have not just your individual coach or mentor, you have the entire body of knowledge of the entire community available to you at the touch of a finger. This is, in fact, more profound than fire or electricity or anything we've done in the past, and it is going to be bigger and perhaps 10 times faster than the Industrial Revolution, partly because of the extraordinary value proposition. I assure you, this understates it. You could not begin to recreate what this company offers for 3 times as much money. It is a 5 or a 10x. Absolute unmatched value. That is a statement of fact. It's not a reflection of my opinion. And I contemplate this thought of what is the market opportunity? Well, once again, let's go back. I've said it several times. If it's more profound than fire or electricity, then isn't it a little bit difficult for us to even imagine? Can we even really imagine what is the magnitude of this? If it's going to be 10 times bigger than the Industrial Revolution, see, if we try to frame the market opportunity in our own experiences, there's nothing in our own experience that would begin to mirror the magnitude of what I've just described. And so we have to kind of wipe the whiteboard clean, metaphorically, and start from a brand new beginning. There are 8 billion people on planet Earth, and in excess of 6.5 billion. That is what is being projected by very, very, very intelligent people. And so we're going to have something north of 5.5 billion people adopting this technology in the next handful of years. We operate the absolute most sophisticated and most all-inclusive communicative service that is available in the AI world, and we offer it for less money than anyone else offers anything even remotely similar. And so, if everyone's going to have to adopt, if we offer the best price at the best product, and we now tie a compensation plan to it, which can gather together literally an army of people to effectively deliver the message, then you tell me, how big is the market opportunity? It's more profound than fire, electricity, or anything we've done in the past, folks. So we're all going to use, that's a foregone conclusion, that has been and is being thrust upon us as we speak. The question is simply, will we be the guide, the conduit to other people's use? And if we are, if you are the guide to someone else's use, they say, well, heavens, yes, I want to use that. Of course I do. Why would I not? I want to grow my real estate business. Of course. I own a paint shop. There are other paint shops. I need to stand out. Of course, I'm going to use AI. I have a nail salon. Well, of course, I'm going to use this. And by the way, folks, clear your mind a little bit. I've had so many people, oh my gosh, I'm not going to contact this person. Folks, every single person that you know is going to use AI. They all are. The only question is, are you going to get compensated because they use AI? And if you are the one who is the conduit to their use, they are getting the best product at the best price. This is one of those rare moments in time when it's just win, 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 determined only by our willingness to act. When you are the one who does act, a person acquires the product package and you get paid 50%. That's a one-time transaction. Every time they pay their ongoing monthly subscription, you get paid 20%. To the extent you personally enrolled them, they're your customer, they're your member, and you keep them on your front line. Now, notice I said keep them on your front line. Before I go past that, let's comment for just a moment on that ongoing commissions of 20%. So I have a friend. His name is Julianne. Julianne won a competition called Dancing with the Stars. And that resulted in her being asked to co-star in a movie with Tom Cruise. And that profound notoriety resulted in her being on just about every magazine cover. And she has 25 million Instagram followers. And so here is an individual who has 25 million Instagram followers. All 25 million are going to use AI. If she chooses to become the conduit to their use, then when all 25 of those million people pay their subscription every month, she'll get paid 20% of that subscription price. That's a big opportunity, isn't it? Who do you know? Who do you know who's had their moment in the sun? Who do you know who caught the Super Bowl pass and now is an influencer? Who do you know who had these various experiences in life which have given them prominence? They have influence. Every person over whom they have influence is going to use AI. If you are the conduit in your past life's experience. So we've developed businesses, teams, compensation plan. Very simple thought. There's a $19 annual license fee, and each time you grow your business, when you help the first person generate their first $250 in revenue, each time we grow a new individual, that gives us access to increasing amounts of depth in a simple 8 generation deep unilevel, paying 20% on generation one, and it's 20% of cash. There is no artificial dilution from cash to BV, CV, PV. And then the next 7 generations are 4% of cash. Whenever there is something more profound than fire or electricity, there is a mass movement of people to it. And when there's a mass movement of people to it, that's the market speaking. So, folks, listen carefully to what the market says. Back in February, I got involved in a project which to me looked like it had some merit. To me, it looked like that. I worked as hard as I could work for 7 months, and in 7 months was able to assemble a team of slightly fewer than 1,000 people in 7 months. It looked kind of good to me. It didn't look good to the market. The market said no. Okay, listen carefully to the market. Now, it has been fewer than 5 weeks ago that I made my first introduction to this business. And I began to realize that this is more profound than. And it's not simply something that is a patch or an add on or a continuation of some past, old, worn out, dated idea. No, it's right for the time. So the market has also spoken. You see, 7 months. I thought an idea was a good idea. The market said no. And 7 months later, there were fewer than 1,000 people. Now, fewer than 7 weeks later, we have more than 35,000 people. We'll cross over 36,000 in the next hour or two, I believe. You see, the market has spoken and is speaking. 36,000 people have adopted this idea in the last 4 weeks and a day. Without a single diamond in that utilization. That all changes next week, this full of days, and then it'll be a multiple of that. Why? Because it's more profound than fire, electricity, or anything we've done in the past. So some quick launch updates. The Lev AI application, I believe, will be launched at opening. The company will, again, I'll let Blake make his announcements, that we will be live doing business, doing transactions, demonstrating the product, generating income in this coming week. The Lev AI application will be a part of that. Lev AI back office is beautiful. It is simple. It works. I've had a chance to tinker around with it. Those of you who are currently involved in our business, you've seen only limited functionality. The rest will be turned on at the time we go live in the next couple of days. And you will find a very, very simple, very easy, intuitive, and extraordinarily effective back office. Those of you who have already enrolled members, if you have not yet placed your teams constructing your tree, to those of you who are going to build in depth, then please go to your back office, click on the resources tab, and there you'll find a short first introduction to exactly how simple and support available now, 10 languages, every language right now, because it needs to be brought to market right now. We don't want to have any of the grains of sand of opportunity slip through our fingers right now. We don't want them to slip through your fingers as people are rushing literally on a global scale towards this concept of AI. In making a decision to launch now, that decision included the recognition that we'll be launching in some markets where we don't yet have banking relationships, where local market credit cards are not going to process very well on USA merchant processing services, and where we don't yet perhaps have a local market. And so we realized that in some international markets, we might have a meaningful percentage of credit cards which do not successfully process. To overcome that, as we correct that situation, please establish a PayPal account. There will be no cost associated with that. PayPal is supported in almost every market in the world. Very, very, very limited, very manageable costs in cash out. Please establish a PayPal account. Then, if you do have credit card issues in your group, they will not be, they won't be especially challenging. That will be a very short-term situation. You'll understand that in a moment. I will also tell you that it is my belief today, and again, we'll wait for formal announcements, but it's my belief that we will introduce our business in some markets the first day or two of the coming week, in other markets the last day or two of the coming week, simply because in those markets where we anticipate credit card challenges, we want our crypto pay in to be available, and that will be the end of this coming week as opposed to the beginning. Follow us on social, because all those things I just said, those are things that demand update. You need to know exactly what's going on. Follow on social, don't be left behind. Right after this session, a gentleman said, Randy, I don't know how to enroll a lot of people. And so I said, well, meet me on a Zoom and we'll talk about how to do it. I want you folks to all understand how simple this is. The entire world is talking about AI. They're all coming towards AI. Go to YouTube. First of all, ask the person who invited you here to send you the online registration form so that you've got your own registration link. You need to have your own registration link to send along with this video to do what I do. And to do what I do is resulting in what? The personal enrollment of more than 140 people in 31 or 2 days, an organization that'll cross over 36,000 people today, doing 3,000 apps per day now, and I believe that's going to 10,000 apps one day this week. How did that happen? It happened just this simply, folks. It happened because go to youtube.com/@GetLevAI HQ. There, copy the link to the sizzle video, which in 90 seconds causes a person to open their eyes, their ears, and their hearts to possibility. And so what I do is I create a simple script and it says something like this. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, because I have no idea what time of the day it might be when they receive it. I don't put their name on it because then that requires individualization, and that's not what I'm doing. I'm looking for people who are looking. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Have you as yet put artificial intelligence to work for you? Is artificial intelligence enhancing your life? If not, I'd like to show you how. And also advise you that the global adoption of AI is underway. Let's talk. And then right beneath that text is what? There's the sizzle video link, and right beneath that is what? My enrollment link. I send that 50 times every night. That's what I do. I send it 50 times every night before I go to bed. All I do is I go to my phone and I look at the A's. I'm not selecting who I'm calling. There's no magic to it. A. Send, 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 send. 50 times. I'm looking for people who are looking. The next day, 50 times for my Facebook Messenger. A. B. Send, 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 send. And then I wake up every morning and I have a group of people who said, my gosh, yes, let's talk. And so by sending out a handful, in my case, it's 50 every night. I send out 50 touches every night. The next morning I wake up, and most mornings I wake up to already having enrollments being done, already done. And then I've got a group of people who said, yes, of course, I want to know more. I say, fantastic. Please review this entire presentation. I send a 25-minute recorded video presentation, once again with the link there. In all likelihood, they complete the link and they're a team member before I ever talk to them. That is how it's working for me. Why? Would that work in any other environment? No. Why does it work here? Because it's more profound than fire, electricity, or anything we've done in the past. And why else? Because people have the security of knowing that even though we are at the outset and at the genesis, we don't have the risks that are part of that. Because why? Because we are owned by Mr. Terry LaCour, and the LaCour Enterprises is the global service provider for LevAI. That is why I know that we have a short-term situation with credit card processing in some nations because we chose to come to market now on purpose, knowing there were effective solutions, PayPal and crypto, but that those need not always be. See, that's a short-term crutch because one of Terry's primary business is payment technologies. Access to leading back office, commissions, operating history, hundreds of years of collective teams experience, and over 25 years of history in micro enterprise, $7 billion in historic revenue creation. And so, under the global umbrella of LaCour Enterprises, and with Blake guiding the business on a day to day basis, our task is simply to assemble a leadership group to deliver the message. That is our task. And my question is, are you ready to join us in leading that message into the future with Lev AI, recognizing that you're going to use, that is a mandate, that's not a question, you're going to use, are you going to be a conduit to other people's use? If so, now is the time to start. And there you'll see that I need to update this slide. It says Lev AI will officially launch in 2 to 3 weeks. That was 2 to 3 weeks ago. Lev AI will officially launch in 2 to 3 days. These are precious, critical days. Do not miss the global update when Blake announces it. Maybe the email's already out. Please, 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 I implore you, contact the person who invited you to be here, receive your registration link, and why not? Why not just craft a little script like I described? Pick 50 people, send, 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 send. Do it now. Do it now. Because tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern, we'll have this discussion again. You can go from hearing about this for the first time now to having a business before you go to bed tonight. Is that typical? No, that's strange. Why is it possible? Because this is more profound than fire or electricity or anything we've done in the past. Don't let that thought slip out of your mind. These are precious moments, critical. We can't call them back. Properly leverage them with Leverage AI. God bless everybody. Have the best Sunday yet. I appreciate you for being here with me. And we are now going to take Bosco. Samantha and I are going to take Bosco down to Salt Lake, and we're going to go to the Harry Potter experience because life is to live.